head of my person, and so I need a nice big wad of clay because my person's big. So my head is going to be pretty large. See the piece there? It's going to be pretty large. But you notice these guys were all different sizes. So I might start with a much smaller piece of clay. So it depends on your picture. You know, how big are you in your picture? How big are you in your picture? So it all depends on that, how big you make your head. My clay is a little dry, and it's hard to make a head if your clay is dry. So you need to work water in, but you can't do it all at once. So you add a little bit of water on your fingers, and then you squish and pull apart and squish the clay back together, and keep doing this until your clay becomes nice and soft. So the first thing I'm going to do is make an egg. Rolling in my hands, it's mostly in the palm of my hands, like that. See, they're rolling the clay in the palm of my hands, and I'm going to roll an area a little bit thinner. Roll in the palm of your hands, let that clay kind of, the palm is just the right shape. Kind of roll that around so you have a real nice smooth egg. Okay, now if that is popping out, that's going to be a little thick for me, so I'm going to just kind of flatten my egg just a tiny bit. So I got palm of my hand to palm of my hand, and I'm just kind of slightly flatten it. So see how that's slightly flattened? Slightly flatten it. Okay, now I have a head about the same size as my head in my picture. And I'm going to decide where my eyes are going to go first. So on your head, your face should be, that's the middle, your nose should come down here. Believe it or not, your eyes come all the way down here. Halfway down you want your eyeballs. You got to have room for your brain and your hair and your forehead and your eyebrows. So if you put your eyes clear up here, you won't have room for any of that stuff. So the very first thing I'm going to do, and this tool is perfect if your head's doing smaller, you can do this dent with that tool. In this case, mine's just a little too small. That's a little too small for my head. So I could either take the side of my pencil eraser, and I could just kind of dent, and I'll dent on the other side. I call this an alien face, okay? So now we're going to change this alien face into my eyeball sockets. So I'm going to pinch, this is going to be the bridge of my nose, that piece of your nose that's right between your eyeballs. I'm going to pinch right there. See how I'm pinching? And I'm going to take my finger or my pencil again. I'm going to push against my fingers. See how that pushed against my fingers? Now I really look goofy. I got these big eyeball dents. I got some sort of eyeball face looking thing. Well, now it's time to start using my fingers and making that model into a nose. So my nose should be kind of wedge shaped. So I'm just gonna kind of use my fingers. And this is all gentle. You just wanna be pretty gentle. To adjust my eye socket, dent, bring those sides in again. Just kind of bring my fingers down along the side and bring those sides in. And bring my nose in. See how that's starting to look a little more like a face? Adjust the shape. I kind of misshapen it while I was squishing my features in. Your cheeks don't come up that high, so I'm gonna bring them down just a little bit. Keep working on my nose. And then I might bring in some smaller tools and clean some parts out. So eyeballs tend to fall off. So what I have people do to make eyeballs is gather the clay into that socket. So gather that clay in. You can kind of see where my eye is going to go now, right? So I'm going to gather a little clay. I have plenty up here at the eyebrow. I'm going to gather a little clay, just kind of push it. Once I have it gathered, I kind of smooth out that top part. got lots of clay crumbs, so I'm gonna take a piece of soft clay and I'm gonna pick those clay crumbs up. Put them in my bag. Wipe my mat off again. Keep going. This will help you too. If you need to take away some clay, you can take this tool. Some of you have a nice double-ended one that's got something other than a wire on the other end. That kind of helps too. You can always go back and take more away. You can always push more in for your eyeballs. It's real tough to take it off. And I have some little stuff that's a little crummy, so I'm gonna take, it's just barely wet. This just little end's wet. I'm gonna do a quick brush because I just have a lot of crummy stuff I wanna get off. Easy to mess up your face as you attach it to your background. So this is about as much as I do before I attach it to my background. So I'm gonna bring my background back to the back with a fork. I'm gonna locate it with a fork. Then I need some pressure. I'm gonna give it some pressure. Put my head on. So I just use a pencil then to do my eyebrows. I'm gonna even put some nostrils in. It kind of shapes your nose a little bit from the inside, then you kind of have that flare. Don't go too hard. You don't want to blow out your nose. You can give yourself eyelashes. For the mouth, I'm going to use this end of it right here, and I'm just going to kind of slosh it back and forth. Slosh, slosh. And it's a little better than a smiley face, but not too much better than that. Just we're working so small, it's hard to get very much detail on there. But if you push the clay, you can end up with some lips. This is it for part 3. Stay tuned. Part 4 is coming up.